Take a look at a movie star like Mel Gibson. I happen to like Mel Gibson's movies. Every one of them. I've liked every movie he's ever done. I never watched Mad Max. I couldn't get into it, but I liked all of his movies. Okay, so now you got the scandal with the Russian hoe, in my opinion, the curve that he found, the curve from the gutter. And I hope he doesn't take it the wrong way, but to me, it sounds like it was set up. Yes, he went crazy. When I listen to the Mel Gibson tapes, and I've listened to them, I'm appalled and I'm shocked. I'm stunned, actually. But what I hear a wounded animal bellowing with a knife in his chest. I hear an animal who was sent a shot with an arrow and is dying and screaming out. And then I hear someone in this calm voice who's baiting him. Now, I don't know whether the tapes were doctored. There's something wrong with the whole picture. But who the hell has a wife who wears a wire like this? How can you trust a woman who, in essence, is wearing a wire on her own husband? And maybe I'm mistaken, but I understand this same wonderful, sterling woman, this poor victim of it, and she had another affair previously with a married actor a number of years ago and has a baby from that affair. So, let's not stop it because she's a woman, she's a victim. All right. If he threatened to burn the house down, that's one story. If, in fact, this really occurred, that's another story. But number three, listen to the man's anguish from what she did to him. There's something more to the story than meets the eye, in my opinion. You want to talk about Mel Gibson? I guarantee you'd rather talk about that than Obama right now. I just know it. I'm positive you'd rather talk about Mel Gibson and the Russian hoe than anything else. I'll be right back.
Savage. This relationship, if you're a good woman and you love me, I don't believe you anymore.
What did
relationship ever work with you? No! I'm behaving like this because I know absolutely that you do not love me and you treat me with no consideration.
Please. Can I
love you because I treated you with every kindness, every consideration. You rejected. You would never be happy.
Well, you got to listen to these tapes, the Mel Gibson tapes. They're frightening. The calmer she gets, and she's baiting him, in my opinion. The calmer she gets, and the louder he gets. But you could hear a man in such agony. Sounds like an animal who was shot. But think about what he did here. He left a wife of, 30, 40 years, 6 children. And I understand that he had a drinking problem when he was young, and he gave up the booze a long time ago. This is alcohol. As pure as I am sitting here, this is an example of what alcohol does to some people. His life has been fundamentally destroyed by alcohol. Now, you say, is that an excuse? I don't know. You decide what you want to decide. It seems we give everyone on earth an excuse, but not Mel Gibson, because he dared make a movie called The Passion of Jesus. Therefore, he's not entitled to any benefit of the doubt. But it's alcohol here. I remember when he had invited me to see The Passion of Christ in a private screening, and we sat through it together in his studio, in his office down in Beverly Hills. I think it was Century City. I don't remember where. I invited him out for a drink. I said, you want to come up for a drink or whatever? He said, no, I haven't had a drink in many years. I said, that was fine by me. Okay. Then, we know what happened. They had the incident on the highway with Malibu, with the anti-Semitic outburst. Now you have this. It's all alcohol related. Justify it? I don't know. Are you perfect? You've never had a problem in your life. So at this point, he's an actor. You know what? I'll still go to his movies. That's all. There are actors I detest, and I go to their movies. I detest certain actors' politics, but I go to their movies. That's all. I tend not to boycott. It's as simple as that. Sometimes I don't go because I think of their politics if they're too extreme. Like, I think Sean Penn is a good actor. I will not go to his movies because I think he's an absolutely evil man. For saying, for example, that Hugo Chavez is not a dictator, when Chavez just arrested someone for twittering against him, I will not go to a Sean Penn movie ever again. There are others in Hollywood. I mean, I know that they're lunatics, most of them. They're drug addicts. They went to the High School of Performing Art as a child. They were stupid to begin with. They couldn't remember anything. And they were puppets. By the way, they had very bad personality disorders. Most actors have a problem in that they don't have a firm personality of their own, incidentally. And they can only live through the role that they are given. And the worse sense of self that they have, the better the actor they are. Let's go back to Mel Gibson. He's an actor. It's horrible the things he said to her, the words. We know that. But admittedly, you've never heard that before. You never heard a guy say that to a woman before in your whole life. You never heard it. You just never heard it on tape. You never heard it on tape because most women have the decency not to wear a wire when their husband and them are having a fight. In other words, they don't want to undermine and destroy a man. She did this to destroy him. They obviously blackmailed him, and he said, drop dead, I'm not paying you, so they released him. This is blackmail.
Savage.
Don't you dare hang up on me.
I can't listen to this anymore.
You hang up, I'm coming over there.
I'll call the police.
What?
I'll call the police.
You I'm coming to my house? You're in my house, honey.
Yes, but you, honey, don't call me honey. You just
You're
call me.
in my house. So I'll call the police and tell them there's someone in my house. How about that?
You can do that. That's fine.
You. I don't involve the police in anything because I stand up for myself. You weak.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, the whole thing's sad. Domestic arguments are horrible when they happen, whether it's in your life or someone else's. It's not something to take pleasure in. And that she released this indicates that she recorded it for a purpose, which was to blackmail him, in my estimation. And he and his attorney said, no, we're not, going to pay you. And they released him. So now how does she benefit by destroying him? I'd like to understand this. How does this woman benefit by destroying Mel Gibson? Can anyone explain that to me? San Francisco, Tanya, welcome to the program. What do you think about this Gibson scandal?
Michael, I heard what you had to say about Mel Gibson, and I remember when Alec Baldwin was caught on tape screaming at his daughter, and
Yes.
the next thing you know, he's embraced by Hollywood. He's given.
That's right.
a
You're
role
right. They
on-
circle the wagons around that D-bag.
Yes, and they give him a part on 30 Rock, give him some, whatever it is, Grammy or Emmy, and make a star out of him, and that's how Hollywood is. And then you have this Roman Polanski thing where they just adore him. I mean, Sigourney Weaver said, and I quote, Roman Polanski has suffered enough.
Yes, Mel Gibson was targeted because he did a movie about Jesus. Isn't that what you're saying?
Christ, it's a beautiful movie, and I think that's what this whole thing is, because they never forgiven Mel for what he's done, but they'll forgive anybody else in Hollywood for every cheesy, lousy, rotten.
That's right. When you think about it, Mel Gibson, as vile as his words are, actually did not hurt anybody physically. That is not the same as Polanski, who actually doped up a 14-year-old and raped her.
Exactly, Michael. It's a true
Well,
story.
look, as a woman, did you listen to the tapes as a woman, though? Don't you find some of his statements frighteningly offensive?
Well, yes, I do, and I think a lot of it had to do. Everybody knows he drank and it had a problem, but everybody knew about Alec Baldwin's anger, and they ignored it and ignored it.
You
and
raise a
ignored it.
very good point. Alec Baldwin literally cursed his daughter out in a way that I thought was astonishingly horrible, and he was given a pass, and in fact, he moved up in Hollywood as a result. Yes, a lot of this is getting even by a certain subculture in Hollywood who does not forgive him for embracing Jesus. There's no question that there's the word I used once, we have Islamophobe, I call it Christophobic. There's no question this is Christophobic behavior. Thank you for the call.
If my husband was screaming at me the way Mel was, I would be screaming back at him, not sounding like Mother Teresa.
Yeah, why is she so calm? The more he screams, the calmer she gets and the crazier he gets. She was baiting him. She was pushing his buttons.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Because when you're that sweet, but I didn't do that. No, I loved you. Why do you say that? I'm such a nice woman. Prada shoe, nice hair, nice breast, nice butt job. I mean, come on. I mean, you can hear it all over this thing, what she was doing to him.
He was set up. I'm not dismissing what he said, but he was set up.
No, nor am I. I don't want to be misinterpreted. I found it to be shocking. But I also heard a wounded animal. I hear a man screaming like a big animal that was shot through the heart. I mean, his heart was broken. Wouldn't you say that, Pauline? This woman tore his heart in pieces.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
I pray for Mel Gibson, by the way. I'd hate to see this man hurt himself. I hope he's listening to the show. Mel, millions and millions of people are rooting for you. That's all I want to say. I'm telling you right now, this guy has to be in agony in the sense that any man who's exposed like this would have to feel so ashamed of himself when he is sober that he would want to hurt himself. And any sane person would say, don't hurt yourself because you really didn't do anything so wrong. You certainly are not the criminal they're saying you are. And as a caller said earlier, what about Alec Baldwin cursing his daughter and the next day being rewarded by his good buddies in Hollywood? No, Beowulf, before we take the break, do you have that Alec Baldwin cursing the daughter tape? Play it. I want to hear it.
I'm going to let you know just how disappointed in you I am and how angry I am with you that you've done this to me again. You've made me feel like and you've made me feel like a fool over and over and over again. I am going to get on a plane, and I'm going to come out there for the day, and I'm going to straighten your out when I see you. Do you understand me? I'm going to really make sure you get it. Then we get on a plane, I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to come home.
Savage.